JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6 Stone Ocean has finally released. I just finished the first 12 episodes and I love it. Definitely within my top 3 favorite JoJo parts so far. Um, I Where do I go with this? I mean, it's JoJo's. Everybody knows JoJo's. Well, it's a little hyperbolic, but everybody knows JoJo's. Everybody either likes JoJo's or they have some sort of stance against it. And if you have a stance against it, well, I'm sorry, you're wrong. It's great. All right, that's a little aggressive, but you get my point. I really like JoJo's. I got into JoJo's a few years ago when Part 5 was about to start airing, and I just barreled my way through it, just, binged it, caught up, really enjoyed it. And I've been looking. Part 6 is one of the parts that I've heard a lot about. I heard the ending, like to the whole part, is really weird, and it sets up the universe of JoJo's for part 7 and 8. So I'm curious to see how that's gonna go. Also, I've seen online that people fawn over Jolene Cujo all the time, and I'm just like, I don't get it. I haven't reached part 6 because I'm not gonna lie, I was super lazy and I didn't want to read JoJo's, so I didn't. I read like maybe 5 chapters of part 6 after I finished reading part 5, and I remember this vividly because I was like, you know what? Part 6 is gonna come out. I'm gonna read Stone Ocean before the anime comes out, you know? I'll be a real JoJo's fan and catch it. And then I read like 5 chapters, and that didn't go anywhere beyond that. But you know, despite my laziness, I'm still watching part 6, still enjoying it. It's really goddamn good. I love Jolene as a protagonist. She seems like a good balance between the cool character trope of Jotaro, but also the super intelligent tropes from like Joseph, but also the comedic tropes from Josuke. Feels like she's a blend of like character elements from different Joe stars in the past, and I think that makes her work really well, and I can see that's why people like her character a lot. Also, her design is fire. Like it's damn, like she just looks so cool. I love it. Um, Now, one thing that does bother me before I just continue going on with positives, because I don't really have any gripes really with Stone Ocean so far. I'll get into spoilers later, but this is a non-spoiler thing that bothers me, and it persists through all of JoJo. Well, not all, but part 3 onward, because that's when stands are introduced. I hate that because so I live in America, obviously by me speaking English in this American accent. I hate the fact that because of copyright claims and all of that mumbo jumbo legal jargon, we get weird stand names and character names because they can't have the official names, since a lot of JoJo's stands or even characters are either directly named after or referencing like American songs and properties, so they can't really adapt them the way they're supposed to be. Like for example, Hermes Costello in Stone Ocean, her stand is Kiss, named after the band, but because of legal stuff, they can't name it Kiss, so it's called Smack. Or Jumping Jack Flash is Jumping Jack Spark, or Jolene's. I don't know what Jolene's stand is a reference to. It's a reference to everything, anything. But her stand is Stone Free, but it's Stone Ocean, and this happened in other parts. Like Josuke's stand from Part 4 is Crazy Diamond, but I don't remember. It's like Crazy Platinum or some weird name, or like it's something different that they changed it to because they couldn't have it the official name because of the reference or the direct connotation that it's connected to. And it's something that bothers me because I watched JoJo's subbed. So when you're watching it subbed, they say the right name in the Japanese dub, but then you'll read it differently. Like when Jolene names her stand Stone Free in Japanese, she's like Stone Free, but then you'll see in the subtitles Stone Ocean. I'm just like, wait a minute, wait, that's not right. It's just a small nitpick that always bothered me. Um, yeah, no, I don't really have any positive. Well, wrong. I don't really have that many negatives. Like that's it. I just have that one nitpick about Stone Ocean. so far everything in Stone Ocean has been compelling. I still think part 4 of JoJo's is probably the best part of JoJo's, but sticking strictly with Stone Ocean, I think it has the best of both worlds from like all of the parts so far, because it has the cool battles, but it also has a compelling story that's going on. Because I know a lot of people's issues with previous parts were that parts, mainly parts 3 and 5, were just, it was a very simple plot that gave the characters leeway to just go somewhere and fight people until they fought the big bad at the end of the season. However, part 4 and part 6 more have a story that puts the characters at odds with other stand users to fight with while developing the story itself, which I think works really well and interesting. So I enjoy it a lot. Stone Ocean's really good. I'm looking forward to the future episodes. Uh, if you if you're not a fan of JoJo's, I recommend giving it a shot. And I need to stress this exclusively because it's something I've been seeing a lot recently, is that there are a lot of article headlines that are like, hey, if you're not into JoJo's, if you haven't started it and you're trying to get into it, here's an article telling you the best way to watch. Just watch it in chronological order. Start from part 1 and go forward. Do not listen to those stupid articles that are like, hey, start from like part 4, start from part this, and then go back and watch that, because then, no, it's stupid, because there are elements in each part that literally follow after the events of a previous part. For example, in Stone Ocean, the main antagonist of Stone Ocean is doing everything he's doing as a result of the effects of something that happened in part 3 of JoJo's. And that villain in part 3 of JoJo's appears in part 1 of JoJo's. So if you haven't seen them in order and then you watch this, or you watch like part 3 for, you're not going to get the understanding of what's going on. So just don't listen to those articles. They're very ridiculous. I don't understand why people, it's just for money, honestly. Like, even because this isn't, JoJo's isn't in the same situation as like Star Wars or Lord of the Rings, where they have a main storyline that was created first, and then they came out with prequel movies afterwards, and then it doesn't really matter which order you watch them in, because you can watch the prequels first, or you can watch the original first, and you'll still gain the same level of enjoyment from both. Either it be you watch the prequels first, and then you watch the originals, and you have like odd little references that nodded to the prequels that you didn't know were there before, or you watch the original first, and vice versa will happen. It's not that kind of situation. JoJo's is a chronological series that goes from part 1 through part 8 is the current part that's in the manga, with a part 9 on the way, which I'm definitely going to have to catch up reading JoJo's in the future, but that's something I have to personally deal with and has nothing to do with this review of Stone Ocean. But yeah, Stone Ocean, very good. Animation, fire. Something that personally I love about Stone Ocean is the sound design. I really love the sound design of all of JoJo's, but it's just, I really love the sound of everything that they have, from characters walking to the exaggerated voice acting to the combat, just the sound of like a Stan's fist colliding with someone, just that boom and crackle just sounds chef kiss. Love it so much. It's great. Yeah, pretty positive here. I don't really have many gripes with Stone Ocean, so I think that's gonna end the non-spoiler part of the review with a go watch it. If you haven't watched JoJo's, start from the beginning and work your way down. It might be a little overwhelming because I know JoJo's has a lot of episodes, but hopefully by the end of it, you do have a good time watching the entire series. Uh, yeah, I guess. Oh, you know what? Here we go. I forget to do this a lot, but my thumbnail artist is KiriTuber. He's a good friend of mine. You should check out his channel. His Twitch channel. His link is in the description. And also, let me know what your favorite part of JoJo is, and who your um, favorite stand, favorite Joestar protagonist is. I'm curious. I want to know. So with that, I'm gonna move into the non-spoiler section. Wait, no, wrong. I'm gonna move into the spoiler section of this and talk about a few things that I really like that stood out to me in these first 12 episodes of Stone Ocean. So if you haven't seen Stone Ocean yet, or uh, you don't want to be spoiled. Yeah, I can't speak right now. Oh well. If you don't want to be spoiled, then I would suggest you leave now. And if you've seen it already and you don't care, then feel free to stay and listen to some of the highlights that I personally enjoyed in the series. So I'm gonna talk about now, and here I go. So one of the things that I really did enjoy, probably my favorite moment in Stone Ocean so far, happens in the second episode where Jolene defeats Gwess. I think that is the hypest and coolest moment within these first 12 episodes. It's just the first time Jolene's theme kicks in. She names Stone Free for the first time. It's just such a hype scene. Just the dialogue, the impact, the direction. It's just, ooh, it's just concentrated hype, and I love it so damn much. Just so cool. I just couldn't. I was just like, ooh, ooh, that's fire. She's great. I love it so much. I really like Hermes Costello. She's very I don't know how to phrase it. Uh, Not exaggerated, but I don't know. I just really like her character. She's vibrant. There we go. She's a very vibrant character. I like that she's kind of foul mouthed and she's very greedy, which gets them into trouble later on in the series. And that episode was really fun. I definitely enjoyed that episode a lot, where they're playing catch with what the hell is the name of that stand? It was Marilyn Manson. Yeah, that was cool. The gambling episode where they were passing the ball back and forth is really cool, and that's something that, like, I'm able to move past it with JoJo's, but I can definitely see someone not moving past it with JoJo's. Is how, like, sometimes they win through like loopholes and everything. Personally, I think it's clever when a character is able to win through a loophole, but I could definitely see somebody going like, "That's stupid." There should have been like clear, defined rules that they were able to win with. But Jolene saying that she didn't make a clear they didn't establish the clear rules as to how many people Jolene could throw the ball to, which allowed her to win the bet by pummeling the stand user of Marilyn Manson by just tossing the ball back and forth while hooking the thread to it. Which also, like, if her attaching the thread to the baseball isn't considered cheating, then why didn't she just do that in the first place? Like, I feel like that would have made it a lot easier. Like, she could have just played tetherball with Foo Fighters. I don't know. It was still a really hype moment. It was really cool. I very much enjoyed it. I think my favorite character so far, like my top two characters of Stone Ocean, are definitely Hermes Costello. She's probably number two, and then number one probably Weather Report. He's so weird, but his stand is so cool. I just like him a lot. I wasn't expecting that. Like, he's just this weird guy that they show up, and they just make him weird with more. They make him more weird with the descriptions that they give him as time goes on. Like when god damn, the little kid, the weird little kid with the ghost stand ability. I don't remember his name. Emporio. That's what it is. Emporio. He shows up randomly, and I don't know. He's a cute little kid. I guess that's kind of it. There's nothing more to him, at least as of right now with these first 12 episodes. But Emporio's like, yeah, I know these two random stand users, and this is Weather Report. He doesn't remember his real name, so we just call him Weather Report. And then his stand is also called Weather Report. He walks on his tippy toes, and he doesn't like to speak very loud, so he'll walk up to you real close and whisper in your ear. And I'm just like, yo, what? Bro, you creepy as hell. And then they fought Jumping Jark, Jumping Jack Flash, and his stand user, Lang Wrangler. Man, JoJo's has some weird freaking names, man. Jeez. Like, I knew this, and you probably knew this if you're in the spoiler section, but man, weird ass names. Like, I can't even come up with weird names when I'm trying to like think of characters and stuff, but like, jeez, uh, Araki, I give you credit. You come up with weird abilities and weird names constantly. Like, I heard that you're planning to make part 9 of JoJo's, so like, I don't know how you've done this for 8 parts. Like, I get it, stands weren't a thing until part 3, but still, it's fucking what? Like, with if you have 9 coming out, that's gonna be 7 parts. 7 parts of JoJo's of stands with weird names and abilities and different characters and motivations. Like, that's a lot, dude. Like, there's so many weird stands in this. Like, the freaking, like, John Gullier, who uses wind currents to see and fires at his stand that ricochets the bullets at people, or freaking White Snake that can steal people's memories, and it steals them by turning their memories and their stand into discs so they can steal them and reinsert them into different people that are compatible. You have Hermes, which she has a simple stand. She creates a sticker that clones things. That's fine. And you have other weird stands like Foo Fighters. That's like a plankton, like sentient plankton that can multiply itself and freaking body snatch people by using their skin sacs. Which, ooh, mm. I never really like I didn't think about it too much, but that's disgusting. Like Foo Fighters is just walking around in this skin suit. Ugh, it's gross. Like the imagery itself isn't gross, but just like the idea that like these like this swarm of plankton is just walking around in some dead girl's skin is ugh. Wish I didn't think about that. Disgusting. But yeah, Foo Fighters, is this weird plankton that uses water to like hop around and can like frick cause people to explode by multiplying so much and control them in skin suits and control multiple people in skin suits. Actually, like, ugh, man, like weird, weird stands, and you name them all after bands, like old timey bands, and something else that I forgot about this because like JoJo's is like each part of JoJo's moves closer to the present. I completely forgot about that until like towards the end of these 12 episodes, because in episode 12 White Snake has a flashback that shows like how like why he hates the Joestar line, and he's just like, yeah, back in 1988, and I'm like, holy crap, I forgot JoJo's takes place in the past, because like, JoJo's just such a weird series that I never really think about the fact that it canonically takes place within like our world in the past, because like part 3 is in 1988, so like part 6 is in like I don't know, I would say like the early 2000s, like maybe 2001 or something like that. So like it's wow, no, it's 2008, my bad, because he says that after after Dio died in 1988, that he waited 2 decades before he got his chance to go after Jolene. So that would mean part 6 takes place roughly in 2008. So yeah, it takes place in the early 2000s. That's crazy. Like I always forget that, because it's just like it doesn't really matter most of the time the decade that JoJo's takes place, but then because it's not like characters are walking around using cell phones or need to use laptops for the story to progress or anything like that, or they make. I mean, there are some points of contention in previous parts of JoJo's that deal with things that existed in those time periods, but it doesn't really matter overall. So I don't know. It's just interesting. I forget about that sometimes, that JoJo's takes place in the past. But other cool moments that I really did like in JoJo's is I always forget stand names. Sorry that this isn't as organized as probably other reviewers have done, but Highway to Hell. That's it. The episode where Hermes fights McQueen, who uses Highway to Hell, was a really funny episode, and it was very reminiscent of Part 4, which is something that I really do like about Part 6, which is something that's missing from Part 3 and Part 5, in my opinion, is that Parts 3 and 5 of JoJo's are more, here's a simple plot. We need to get from point A to point B, and along the way from getting to point A to point B, we'll fight a bunch of stand users until we get to point B, and then we fight the big boss at the end, and that's the end of the series. Okay, that's fine. That's more or less how parts 3 and 5 go. I know part 5 doesn't really start that way. It starts off with the first half. They're trying to find Diavolo's daughter Trish and bring her to him until they find out he wants to kill Trish, and then it switches to them traveling to find Diavolo and kill him. But more or less at the end of the day, they're traveling from point A to point B, and then they fight the final boss at the end. It's the same thing, just a little added step in the middle. But parts 4 and part 6 have that bizarre adventure quality that I guess is what I'm talking about that I like. It feels like a more in part 4, it feels more like a sitcom, because the first half of part 4 there isn't really a big bad that they need to stop, so they're just kind of having fun and going about their business until they have to deal with Kira, who I feel is the best villain in all of JoJo's. Dio is a really cool villain, but I think story wise and menacing wise, Kira is probably the best villain of JoJo's, because Dio is just so flamboyant that although he has like a intimidating demeanor, I wasn't really scared of Dio. But Kira, like it's just I guess it's because of how real Kira is as a person. Like Dio is a weird vampire man who has the power to stop time, and he doesn't age, and he has cults and everything like that. Like it's a little more unrealistic for a regular person. But Kira, he could exist. Like if you took away his stand ability, he could exist like in real life. Like he could be your neighbor because he's just a serial killer. Like he lays in wake until he wants to kill somebody, and then he kills them, and then he feels better about himself and he goes about his day. He had a normal job. Like I guess that's the scary part about Kira, is that he's a normal person, and that's super uncomfortable. And then his character is also written to be very uncomfortable and very mentally unstable, which is why I really liked him. And that's the kind of vibes I'm getting from part 6, is that like you have the weird one-off episodes where they have something strange and funny happen, like Hermes fighting Queen and Foo Fighters, Julian and Hermes playing catch against Marilyn Manson. But then you have the more serious episodes, like episodes 11, 10, 11, and 12, where they're trying to deliver Jotaro's stand to the Speedwagon Foundation, and they're getting into a battle with Jack Flash and White Snake, and they're trying to stop them and get the disc back to Speedwagon so they can save Jotaro and everything like that. Like, those are intense. Those are pushing the story forward. It's more interesting. It's not more interesting than the other episodes. It was more impactful in the length of the story. But it has a good balance between those two episodes, which I really am enjoying in part 6. Now, tangent real quick, I have heard that part 7 is like the best part of JoJo's Steel Ball Run, from what I've heard about it, and like the plot and everything like that. But I'll get there in good time. But for part 6, it's pretty fire. I'm enjoying it. Can't really think of any more like cool moments or like discussion topics from like previous parts that I want to really bring up here. But yeah, that's about it for this video. I will definitely be reviewing the next set of episodes that release for Stone Ocean when they inevitably come out in like month to however long Netflix takes to release them. So in the meantime, hit the like and subscribe button. Turn on bell notifications if you feel like it. Like I said, leave a comment down below letting me know your favorite part, Joestar, protagonist, and all that jazz, and the stand and all that. So have a good day or good week, whatever, month, year, life, however you want to take it. And remember, folks, you are innocent until proven villainous, and I will catch you in the next review.